What's up, guys? This is Sam here, and today I wanted to talk about how absolutely ridiculous I think it is with the way the caucuses are done in Iowa. And I wanted to dive into a little bit more depth on that. So, if this is your first time here, what's up? My name is Sam. And if you are a returning user or viewer, I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, I started this rabbit hole covering Andrew Yang and the different ways of looking at the data through YouTube search and Google search and their website and their social media growth and all that. So if you want to check out any of those analysis videos, go check out the channel. And I've always heard that Iowa caucus was that's what I would hear the most about, but I didn't know why. So I started to look into that, and I came across this article, which was actually released today, as you can see here, 10:14 a.m., September 9th. If we come down here, September 9th. So it came out today. The Democratic National Committee Rules and Bylaws Committee voted to remove virtual caucusing from Iowa's and Nevada's 2020 plans on Friday. So they told them no go. The DNC told them they cannot have virtual caucusing, and they go on to say because they're afraid of fraud and essentially somebody scamming it because of the digital. Now, that's on the one hand. Wait until we get in to see what reality is. So they're like, oh, we're scared of fraud because it's digital. We don't understand technology. I'm sure there's valid concerns, and I'm just making a point here. So what it is, I went over to the DNC website for Iowa, and I found the Iowa delegate selection plan, which includes the caucus rules and everything. Lots of awesome information here if you enjoy reading really boring stuff. About 60-something pages. But it goes into some of these rules about how much you have to have depending on how many people are in there, how it's actually structured, and some specific rules about the timing of things. But I found an article on Wikipedia that I think does a very nice job of articulating some of the information from this giant PDF in a very succinct way. Obviously, there's a lot of details missing here, but it kind of gets the idea across. So I'm going to go through and read this and stop at points to. I'd like to really honestly hear your thoughts. Like, this is how we elect our delegates who elect our president. If you build a house on sand, what the fuck happens? The foundation is not solid. Look at this. Each precinct divides its delegate seats among the candidates in proportion to caucus goers' votes, right here. Participants indicate their support for a particular candidate by standing in a designated area of the caucus site, forming a preference group. So what that means is, the people go to this place and they stand in a certain area, and that's like, okay, these people represent Joe Biden, these people represent blah blah blah, and that's a preference group. An area may also be designated for undecided participants. Then, for roughly 30 minutes, participants try to convince their neighbors to support their candidate. I'm not like making this up. You can go get this yourself. Like, it's a PDF. You can download this and you can read through this. This is how we're electing our president. This is what we have in place in Iowa. And I bet if we looked into every other state, probably some fucked up weird shit like this too, right? So I'm going to read that again. And then for roughly 30 minutes, participants try to convince their neighbors to support their candidates. What the fuck is this shit? This is absolutely ridiculous. Does anybody else see a flaw in how this could be done? Like, this is... I don't even know what to say. When I was reading through this, I was like, holy, is this like reality, or is this like fake? And is this like completely fake? And that's what led me to this, because I found this one first, actually. And I was like, damn, this can't be fucking real. This is like some fucked up shit. And I just didn't believe it. Alright, let's continue reading. Each preference group might informally deputize a few members to recruit supporters from other groups, and in particular from among those undecided. Undecided participants might visit each preference group to ask its members about their candidate. Oh my god. It's like we're playing Treehouse or something. You guys, I'm curious to know what anybody else thinks about this once they've watched this video. After 30 minutes, the electioneering is temporarily halted and the support for each candidate are counted. This is the dumbest thing in the world. At this point, the caucus officials determine which candidates are viable, depending on the number of county delegates to be elected. The viability threshold is 15% of attendance. So, oh my goodness. And they're worried about online security. This is what I'm talking about. People actually have to go somewhere, care enough to go somewhere, and they wonder why like nobody's showing up for elections. Because they have to go somewhere and mingle with people they don't fucking know. And then have strangers come up to them and try to convince them that some other candidate that's who they want to vote for. And it's all very chaotic in a 30-minute time frame. Like, it just doesn't. And it sounds like it takes probably a long time because whoever organizes it is probably, it takes a lot of work to organize stuff like this. For a candidate, we're going to continue reading. For a candidate to receive any delegates from a particular precinct, because these precincts are just like all over the state too, and from what I read, is that sometimes they can actually be held in people's houses. Yes, I actually said that. Sometimes these caucuses can be held at people's houses. I don't know. I don't remember what side I read it on, and I'm not trying to say that's the case. I'm not trying to say anything else, but that did, when I did the very brief, just reading about other articles around this without digging really deep into this yet, that's what I did see, and I wasn't like really digging that deep. Anyways, there's like 1,600 different precincts, and I wonder what percentage of them are held at people's homes, because I don't know, it clearly seems like there could be some type of fucking issues right there. Okay. Let's move forward. For a candidate to receive any delegates from a particular precinct, he or she must have support of at least the percentage of participants required by the viability threshold, which would be this year. Once viability is determined, participants have roughly another 30 minutes. Ooh, we get even more time. Now it's like musical chairs. This is getting more and more interesting. What's that? 50. This is gonna be like 50 Shades of Grey in a second. Once viability is determined, participants have another 30 minutes to realign. The supporters of inviable candidates, so the people who didn't meet the 15% threshold, may find a viable candidate to support. So people who did not meet the 15% threshold, and the 15% threshold from reading through this, it depends on how many people are participating. If there's more people, then the number is lower. If there's less people, then the number is higher in terms of the threshold. So say if there was 4 people competing, the threshold is probably 15%. If there's 8 people competing, it will be different. Okay, so basically, if they don't meet the threshold, the people who are supporting people who did not meet that can realign to some other party or some other candidate. Don't get the supporters of inviolable. This realignment is crucial distinction of caucuses in that it's unlike a primary, being a voter's second candidate of choice can help a candidate. So from my very preliminary and rudimentary understanding of a primary, it's just you're voting. I don't know the specifics of that for a candidate. And the person that you might have cared about second most doesn't really actually matter because you only click one. Where in this case, it's like people pick their people and then they decide like, oh, hey, well, that's round one. Let's go to round two. Now you have to pick somewhere else to go. So a different way of doing things, not right or wrong, it's just different. And that's just basically what I wanted to touch on was that, and put this out there because I think more people need to see how this kind of stuff happens, because the more of us that look into things like this and bring awareness and attention to the people around us for this kind of stuff, the more attention there is, that's when things start to change. That's when, like, something from the 1940s. It's 2019. We don't need this shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's the right way. I'm not saying I know that. I'm just saying I think if we get some really good people together and have some right incentives, we could probably come up with a better way of doing this to allow more people to participate. Think about all the people who can't go to something like this because they have shit going on in their life, where they do have this all the time, though. They could do something like that, and you can get much higher turnout and a better, more accurate representation of what the people in Iowa want, or in the country want. Let me know what your comments are down below in the comment section. If you guys have any thoughts, let me know down there as well. I do have more of my power rankings coming up. I think next is the donations. We look at the percentage of donations from small donors going to each one of the top 10 candidates, and we see who has the highest percentage, and we are going to stack rank them, and then we're going to do our overall power ranking to see who is the actual top 5 in that. So if you want to follow along with that, make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification. By the way, if you do want to help get this message out to other people, either just share this video with them. You don't want to do that, like the video. If you don't want to do that, just talk about this kind of stuff. You don't have to share my content with them. Just talk about it. You know what I mean? You don't need to be like, you butt heads with somebody. Like, to each person their own. I mean, if they believe something different, that's fine. That doesn't mean they're not an intelligent person. They just believe something different. So get that message out there. You know, even if you don't want to share this video with them. But if you do share the video, I appreciate it. Peace.